Welcome to the 2013 KVIE Art Auction, celebrating 32 years of visual arts in our region. More than 250 pieces will be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and you can be a part of the action by watching and bidding on your favorite pieces. View the entire collection online at kvie.org/art auction. Then, when your favorite item appears, call 1-800-270-6601 to place your bid. You can also interact live with the auction team on Twitter using hashtag KVIEArts. Remember to bid high and bid often. And now, let the auction begin. Sold. Stay tuned for the Rob on the Road category, coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. This category features artists whose studios have been visited by me, Rob Stewart, as part of our ongoing commitment to celebrate local arts. View all of the categories featured in this year's auction at kvie.org/art auction. Bid high and bid often.
All those people over there were swapping out the phone bank. Tim, you did great. Dre, you did great. Cindy, everybody's just been wonderful. Good evening and welcome. I'm Rob Stewart, host of Rob on the Road. It's so nice to be with you live here in KVIE, as well as all across the country online and all of Northern California on KVIE Channel 6. We got a great hour here for you. It's action-packed. This portion of KVIE's Art Auction is presented by the Nilo Company, our dear friends over there, Rick and Terry. We want to thank you, the Nilo Company, for supporting public television and art in the Central Valley. We appreciate from the bottom of our hearts your support, and they know it. I can promise you that. Okay, let's review the art. This is the half hour, folks. This is gonna be fun, and here's what's coming up right now. We have, this is beautiful. It's called Ignored Omens 4. This is by the late Lorene Landau. Reen and Dee Neath, our curator, are very close friends. We're gonna have that story coming up. Also, we have Custom Portrait. We'll speak of Dee. There's Dee right there. And the cool part about this is a watercolor. And what we're gonna do on this one is, if you buy this picture, it's not of Dee, you get your portrait made by the famous David Lobenberg. This is really a rare opportunity that David is offering here for KVIE. Check this out. This is our dear friend John Titus Krimple, Windows on the Night. This beautiful piece given by John to KVIE, and his work is being collected internationally right now. He is on the demand. So is Kim Squalia. Kim's works all over the country, New York City as well, mixed media. This piece is called Eames. We'll explain coming up. And here it is. Round of applause from the studio, everybody. This is our Best in Show winner, Tim. He's over there on his phone, but we're talking about him live on TV. Your piece is up. Tim is our Best in Show winner, and this is, wow, this is just a showstopper half hour with the person that I call the showstopper of television. This is my teammate here at KVIE, my dear friend in personal life, and my co-worker here at KVIE, Martin Christian. Martin and I do Rob on the Road together, so anything that you've ever seen, you can... This guy's responsible for it.
Thanks, Rob.
Good to see you, Martin.
You had a small part as well.
No, I didn't. I also want to brag about Martin. Martin is an award-winning photographer. You saw his piece in the last half hour soar above bell-ringing status. Martin's beautiful piece of Yosemite he gave us, and he did that on his own and dedicated all of that. Martin, tell us also, you are an award-winning photographer, and your pictures are stunning. Where did you get that skill?
Well, there is a debate on whether that's God-given or learned, and who knows. I know that my dad could not figure out how to use his 35mm camera, and I figured it out right away, and so, you know, from the rest is history. I felt like I was home again.
Oh, And that's the way art should feel when you're a real artist, and you
sure.
are. MartinChristianPhotography.com. Okay, so this piece is amazing, Martin. And Lorene Landau, you and I went to her home. Dee, why don't we get Dee to come in on this one too?
Sure.
Martin, you've been studying these pieces, and Martin is an art expert, and so is Dee. Tell us, what strikes you the most first, Martin, and then we'll come to Dee.
Well, I remember this entire gallery that we're going to see over the next half hour is part of the Rob on the Road segment, and they were pieces that you and I went out into the field and shot on these local artists. And Dee is the inheritor or the steward of Lorene Landau's collection, who was
both.
popular in the 70s and 80s, I believe, Dee. And you know, this was like a treasure chest full of imagery when you and I went there to Dee's house that day and just pulled out one beautiful canvas after another.
And you got to plunder and do whatever you wanted.
It was just really amazing, and maybe Dee can tell us a little bit more about
Okay,
that.
I'm going to have you step here, and I'll step here, and I'll just do a little.
Do your thing.
This is, and I'm going to try and do it without getting all verklempt.
I know.
This piece is from Lorene's Ignored Omens series, which is a series of really thickly rendered paintings that mainly have to do with food and the kitchen. This piece actually hung over Lorene's dining room table. It was in her private collection, which means she did not put it up for sale.
Wow.
The reason this piece is here today, it's not just all about me. Lorene specified in her trust that a piece be given to the KVIE Art Auction every year. So that makes her one of our legacy artists. So there's been a few prime pieces of hers that were set aside, personal pieces that she chose to keep because she thought they were her best, that will be donated to the station over the next couple years. This is the second one of those pieces.
Wow. Dee, don't go anywhere. We do need the phones to start ringing on this. And I know as you start to watch and you start to see the pieces that you want, it does take time to make the decision to decide whether to invest on these pieces. We're calling for a starting bid of $1,200. The retail is at $4,200. And as you soak in this beauty, go to your phone if you're interested, and let's get this auction going. You said that you didn't want to get emotional, and I think you should explain why. It's because she was your best friend.
Yeah.
And she left you her beautiful home.
She left, well, no, she left me her two dogs.
Her two dogs.
And she loved her dogs, and
The
dogs
dogs
can't
got the
inherit property. So I inherit, we called them the heiresses. So she left me her home so I could care for her artwork and her two dogs. Her studio remains intact. It was open last weekend for the studio tour. Rob did a beautiful Rob on the Road episode, and Martin did a beautiful job filming the studio.
Well, you let Martin do something. And Martin, why don't you tell everyone what you did? Because I watched you from outside. We all left, and you just were turned loose to go through the gallery. What did you feel?
You know, reliving that memory now, Dee, I remember the easel that she had, that everything was intact, and in fact, I believe she had a smock or an apron that was hanging up where all
was her smock.
the tools and the brushes and everything were still there. And I remember the touching story that you shared with us. I seem to remember there was a small black and white television in the corner that she would watch Channel
Little
6.
KVIE
Oh, that's right.
television.
Remember, she said she would watch Channel 6 while she was
Opera.
painting.
Yeah.
It was opera.
And one of
Wow,
the
Channel
other
6.
things, and I'd like to bring this up, that Lorene did, Lorene left a considerable amount of her cash estate to KVIE
Yeah,
as well.
and we're talking a
She
chunk of change.
Yeah, she did not just remember them by leaving artwork. She left them a considerable amount of her cash estate, and she did that because KVIE was important to her. She painted these while she was listening to wonderful opera on KVIE. So the only way you can do that is to call us at I totally blanked. 1-800-270-6601, and you can bid on this beautiful Lorene Landau. Help support KVIE like she did. Let's make those phones ring. This is the investment hour, folks.
That's lemons. I see silver. I see the beautiful piece that she had in her dining room, and it can be yours. We're starting that bid at $1,200. Okay, now this lady on the screen might look familiar. She was just on here. That's Dean Eath, our curator. And Martin, this is David Lobenberg. You know David well. This is a portrait that someone can have painted of themselves, and it can be their own face in that. Tell us about this style, Martin, because I watched you with David, and you really studied his craft.
David is a master watercolorist here in Sacramento, and reading up on some of David's techniques, he mentioned that he, let's see where I have it. He starts from light to dark. So he starts with the light and then moves outward, I believe, into the darks. And he also mentions that he's known for being able to express the character of his subjects. So for a portrait artist, I think that's a pretty special quality. You know, when we went to his studio, it was just, you know, faces all around the studio, and everything has such a warm, inviting feel. He's one of Sacramento and Northern California's best known watercolorists. He's a dear friend, and he's just a fun guy to be around, and well known in East Sacramento. So he's a very, very well known Sacramento artist.
And this can be your portrait. You don't get this painting, it's your portrait, so you get a custom sitting with David Lobenberg, and I want to show you a clip that Martin shot at David's studio. Let's take a look at that. I say master of all mediums because it fascinates me how you can go from oil to watercolor to acrylic.
Well, what allows me to do that is at a very early age I learned how to draw. Drawing is a foundation.
Can this be taught, or is this a born gift?
It depends what level you want to get at. It would be like teaching somebody to sing or teaching somebody to dance. We can all do these things. It's amazing what human beings can learn how to do. I mean, it is a combination of sweat and hard work, but it's also a gift that they're born with.
And I just want to bring this point up because it's very important if you're watching across the country. You don't have to sit for David to do this. He snaps several pictures of you with his still camera, and then he paints from that. Martin?
And also, you know, if you don't want a portrait of yourself, or if you don't want to have a portrait done of yourself to hang in your home, what if, you know, I was thinking about my own parents in South Carolina and family in Maryland. Would it be neat to have a portrait of myself and then give that to my family members who maybe don't get to see me very often? So, you know, maybe if you have a portrait done of yourself, doesn't necessarily mean it needs to hang in your bedroom or your office. You could give it to a loving family member or a close friend or someone that's far away. So this is a great opportunity to give a very, very special gift.
And as we toss to Dee to talk more about Lorraine's painting, I do want to say this. Martin is a dog lover. His beautiful dog, Ralphie. This would be really a nice, beautiful painting of Ralph. So Karen, you know, maybe his wife wants to take care of that. Dee?
Okay, yeah, speaking of the Lobenberg portrait, that belongs to my husband, so you don't get that. Not that anybody wants the Lobenberg portrait of me, but I was very flattered by it. I enjoyed having my portrait done, so what a great gift to give some newlyweds, something like that. Anyway, I'm going to talk about this piece behind me. This is 43A. It's Ignored Omens by Lorraine Landau. Lorraine was an important artist here in the Sacramento area. She taught at Sac City for over 30 years. She was part of the Bay Area figurative movement. She's in the permanent collection at the Crocker. So again, the next couple pieces you're seeing, these are investment pieces. These are important artists in the Sacramento history. Again, Ignored Omens, 43A. I need an opening bid of $800. This was beautiful in Lorraine's dining room. It hung directly over a big giant dining room table. It needs to be over your dining room table. So call up. The minimum bid is only $800. The number is 800-270-6601. I'm going to let you know right now we have some exciting pieces coming up. If you don't call and get in on the phone now, you might miss those pieces. They sell fast. We have what's called a hard close tonight. That means we can't go long. So we've got to keep this at a clip, and that's what they're telling me in my ear. So we're going to go back to Rob.
Okay, so we need you to call 1-800-270-6601 if you're interested in this art. It is absolutely beautiful art. We have one-of-a-kinds here in the studio. This is investment television worth watching right now. These pieces can be in your home. We have $500 for the Lobenberg custom portrait of anyone you'd like, as well as Lorraine Landau's piece is at 800, and the phones are starting to ring. Martin, this is John Krimpel's beautiful piece, which you and I are both friends with. John has given this beautiful piece to KVIE, and tell us about what you know about this artist.
John is an amazing abstract artist here in Sacramento. I own one of his one of his paintings
Really?
of a chair in my. In fact, you and I were
That's
together
right, we
when
went that
it
night
was
to
a
the
gift
gallery.
from Karen.
Yep.
He uses in this abstract, which this is very similar to the piece that you and I shot for Rob on the Road. He sent me a list of materials that are involved in this piece. There's wood, sand, fabric, lots and lots of oil paint. He told me in this,
Wow.
and he told me that it takes up to 2 weeks for this to dry. And we have video in our Rob on the Road segment of him laying fabric down and all kinds of different materials. The inspiration behind this piece, it's an aerial view of a cityscape.
Really?
So a lot of his pieces have an urban quality to them, and this one in particular, he mentioned, imagine a Google Earth view or a MapQuest view where you're looking down on a city. That's the idea behind this abstract painting. And might I say, John's prices are going up by the day.
Quickly.
Up and up
Yes.
and up. So this is a great time to own a crumple.
I love that, a crumple. And we see it's up at $275 right now. We're going to take that up to $400, but right now we're going to go over to the phone bank for a live update.
Well, I'm over here in the phone bank with D&D, and I want to give you a recap. 43A Ignored Omens 4 has a high bid right now of $900. Thank you to the two people who are already on the phone bidding on that item. Don't let it slip out of your grasp. Lorraine's pieces are a legacy for KVIE. But right now I want to talk about D&D. There is a great resemblance here, right? Now you're not bidding, I know even though you like it, you're not bidding on this actual piece of art next to me of D. This is hers. What you're bidding on is a custom portrait done by the incredible David Lobenberg in this style. So he will work with you. You can either sit in his studio or send photos of yourself or whatever to him, and he will create a custom portrait just for you. Folks, this is really important. David has been very generous in contributing a custom portrait. Not easy to do because he is a very busy guy, but he'll do it for KVIE viewers and donors right now in the art auction. We have a high bid of $500 on it. Folks, this thing needs to get up to $750 and keep going up and up. Call the number on your screen, 1-800-270-6601, and get yourself a custom David Lobenberg portrait. And now we'll send it back over to Rob on the Road.
Thank you so much, Heath. And Martin and I are sitting here talking off camera how nice it is to talk about stuff that you love. Clearly, people love the artwork in this half hour. I see a live auction taking place for the first piece, Ignored Omens 4. It keeps jumping from $9 to $950 to $1,000. The custom portraits at $500. Martin, Windows on the Night. Martin just gave an eloquent explanation of how you're looking down at the geography of what this would be. This is at $350. It's going to be a bell ringer any minute now. It's now at $375. Martin, you said this is a collectible artist whose prices are soaring.
Very much so. You know, I'm friends with John on Facebook, and he's very passionate about Second Saturday. He shows in the Level Up Gallery, which is above Ty Basel, I believe, on J Street. He's very active in the downtown arts community. He's a really great guy, very passionate about Sacramento and all things Sacramento art. He's displayed all throughout Sacramento, very collectible. This is a very significant piece, and it would be a signature piece in your home for sure. I'm kind of glad that my wife is here working on the crew because I know that this is the one that she really wants.
Well, Martin, you just sold it, and that's a great thing because we're now at a bell ringer for Windows on the Night. If we want to ring those bells for that, that's fantastic, but we're going to keep the bid going. So John is up above his retail value at $425, and that's fantastic. The debate is on live right now for Lorraine Landau's piece, which actually used to hang in her dining room. And Dee gave us that painting in honor of Lorraine. So we'll have more on that in a minute. But first, this beautiful, wonderful piece of art. Wait till you see this live here in the studio. There you see it on your HG televisions, or if you're watching across the country, call 1-800-270-6601. Martin and I just had the pleasure of going to Kim Squalia's home. She is phenomenal, and her studio is just gorgeous. This is Eames. Martin, tell us about this piece. It's already at $1,000, and Martin has some insight on this artist as well.
This is titled Eames, and she revealed to us that the motivation, the inspiration for this was Ray Eames. She was a designer from Sacramento, and I think based in Los Angeles in the 40s and 50s and 60s. They designed furniture and toys and household items, I believe, and they're currently on display in the California Hall of Fame. And so the colors and a lot of the lines and the structure wasn't provided an inspiration for her. She paints all of this by hand, and as we saw in our segment, she uses multiple layers of resin that she puts over each layer, and then she either sands it down or leaves it the way it is, whether or not she wants a matte finish or a glossy finish. And she told me that one of the things she likes about these pieces is that when you stand far away, you think they're machine made or some sort of commercial art, but when you get in close, you can see that they're all hand done. One thing I really liked about her studio, she had a gas mask, she had a breathing mask, she had a blowtorch, and you know, for rough and tumble guys like myself, I think that's really cool that she really gets in there and creates quite a unique work of art.
Well, it's a physical experience that we saw when she is doing her art, and Martin was showing you all of these colors here. These are actually multiple layers. Every color you see here is a layer, and then it's covered, and then another layer, and then it's covered. Hours and hours of work. 1-800-270-6601. Martin, we're at $1,100 right now, which is great. Eames is worth over $2,600. Her pieces are in New York City and all across the world. Dee, let's go back to you for an update on Lorene Landau.
Okay, I am in front of the Lorene Landau piece, Ignored Omens 43A. We have a current bid of $1,100. It's a $4,200 piece. This is one of those masterpieces. You put it in your home. When you first walk in, it'll just finish out your home beautifully. It'll make your home into a gallery. This piece was not shown in the gallery. It was shown in Lorene's home. It was one of her favorites. She left the piece as a legacy to KVIE to continue the fine programming that she loved. And we'd like you to continue the fine programming by calling right now, 1-800-270-6601. I have this lovely phone bank. I think I've got 2 or 3 people with a phone line open. We've got some hot items coming up, and if you don't get on the phone and start bidding, you could lose them. Again, we're going to close this one out soon. It's 43A, Ignored Omens by Lorene Landau. It has a current bid of $1,100. I'm looking for $1,200. Let's go back and learn some more about that great Kim Squally piece.
This piece is spectacular. And Martin, you were telling us Eames, this is modeled after the famous furniture family Eames, which is, as you said, at the California Hall of Fame. You being an art expert, when you look at this, what strikes you the most?
You know, I love the colors, how they kind of speak to that time period of the 50s and 60s. That's that kind of retro color patterns that I think are coming back into our culture. She says that as she buffs and works in the layers of resin, that it begins to grow and change and creates, as she calls, a biological, organic shapes. As you know, you look at this and it kind of looks like, you know, you're looking at the muscle fiber or some sort of medical, you know, slide of the human body or something. So it has a very biological, human feeling to it. It was definitely one of the most talked about pieces in the art auction, in the preview party. It's a very bold piece. It's very comfortable. It would go well anywhere in your home. She's definitely one of Sacramento and Northern California's best known abstract expressionist painters, and I just love it.
Well, let me tell you something about this artist, because Martin and I went through her home, and when we went in there, she had a couple of pieces on her walls that she picked out. And when you see this in your house, it pops. Clearly, it's registering with people, $1,700. Hey, Heath.
Well, hey, Rob, how you doing over there?
I'm doing great. How are you doing over there with a custom portrait?
We've been here for almost 32 hours of amazing live television. There just isn't another station, a PBS station, that does the amazing things that we do. And you're lucky you have it on your favorite station, KVIE. Right now, 43B Custom Portrait is right next to me. Remember, you're not bidding on a piece of D. You're bidding on an opportunity to have your own custom portrait, your face here, by the amazing David Lobenberg. He was an art expert earlier tonight. He's been a juror with us many times. He's also a contributing artist for years and years in the art auction. And what a treat to be able to have a custom piece of art that is you or your child or your family, all done by David Lobenberg. But the way that you get in on that bidding and help us finish this art auction strong is by calling 1-800-270-6601 and making it happen. I also want to give a special shout out to Chicago Fire. They are located in Midtown Sacramento. They make amazing pizza, and they provided pizza for our staff and crew for dinner tonight so that we could make sure we get through the entire night. So I'm gonna ring my bell for Chicago Fire. There's a fire! It's Chicago! All right, Rob, I'm going to send it back to you, and I think you've got an amazing piece to sell, don't you?
Yeah, I have a piece to sell here that actually takes my breath away. Not just because of the artwork, but because of the artist behind the painting here. This is Tim Collum's piece. It's A Day at the Beach. It's valued at a very modest $2,400. Tim is becoming a household name all across Northern California because of his amazing gift. Martin, tell us about this. What was that, Craig? Oh, we have a tape. Let's go to the tape first, and then we'll come to you, okay? Tape?
What is it about these paintings that you think people are connecting with so much?
You know, that's a great question, and I think a lot of it is that people can relate to it. I think they're positive and they're upbeat and bright, and I use a lot of texture, and they're not so defined, and they're not so, I would say, so detailed that people get overwhelmed. It's a pretty simple picture that people look at, even though, you know, as far as recreating some of these pictures are probably a little bit tougher to do, but at the same time, it's where people have been, and a lot of people have been there in these places, or they can relate to it, and they just want something that brightens up a room, and I deal with a lot of perspectives.
You know, Rob, that was a lot of fun shooting in his East Sacramento garage studio. I think we all kind of are jealous that we don't have a garage studio. Tim is a wet-on-wet oil painter. He uses rich, bold strokes, and this is from a series of beach scenes. Tim told me that his dad used to take him to the beach as a child, and I'm also Facebook friends with Tim, and I see a lot of talk about the beach with Tim, so there must have been pretty significant childhood memories. I know you and I are both from the East Coast, and I mean, the beach, this is really an emotional piece for me.
I see that.
It takes me home, you know, just being a beach scene. I grew up on the beach, and I think that our viewers out there may also have those types of memories with the beach. There's something I wanted to point out with this photograph, with this painting. If the camera looks down here, here, we see a woman with a handstand. And I went back and forth with Tim today for some correspondence, and he told me that he tries to get a few friends in each one of his pieces. And in this situation, this is a mom of 3 and a cancer survivor, a dear friend of his.
Right here.
Yeah. And so, you know, only the artist knows, but maybe there are more stories about people like that in this painting. I know for myself, I kind of see myself when I was 8 years old in this painting. I see myself when I was 16 and 22. So there's just something about a beach scene that's comfortable and soothing and relaxing.
It is absolutely beautiful. And you know, we talk about Tim Collum. You hear the words Gregory Condos, you hear the names Wayne Thiebaud, and I promise you, Tim Collum is right in that level and is the next Northern California superstar. $2,500. Tim, you're here if you could make your way over. Actually, we're going to go to Heath for a minute while Tim works across the studio. And Heath, take it away on Kim Squalia.
I was going to say, this is a piece you were talking about earlier. This is Kim Squalia's piece, 43D. That's the number you need when you call in and place your bid. Let the volunteer know that you want to place a bid on 43D. Right now, the high bid is $1,700. We're looking for you to place a bid of $1,800 and keep this auction going, okay? That's how we make this an auction. That's how you help KVIE finish this auction strong for another year of great television on your favorite and local PBS station. So 43D, we want to get that bid going up to $1,800. Why should they call, Mary Ellen?
Because they support KVIE, and this is a great piece.
It's a great piece of art. It's a beautiful piece of art. So make the phones ring just like we heard here. And I think now we're going to send it over to Dee because she is going to close out 43A live on camera. So Dee, why don't we just pan the camera over to Dee?
I'm over here. Here's Dee. I'm standing in front of Lorene Landau's 43A Ignored Omens. We have a bid of $4,200. We have a retail of $4,200. I have a $2,000 bid. I'm going to close it out right now. I'm going once at $2,000, twice at $2,000. It's sold at $2,000. Tell your lady she's got it. It's a beautiful piece. If you want any information on Lorene, you can look at archivalframe.com or lorenelandau.com. Okay, let's go back and listen to some more about this exciting Tim Collin piece. Best of show right there.
Before we get to Best in Show, Martin, quickly about Kim.
Kim, I just wanted to mention, as a result of the style and all the materials, that is a very heavy painting, very solid.
It is. Beautiful piece. Okay, thanks for that, Martin. We have the man of the hour here right now, Tim Collin, in the flesh, right here. Tim is a good buddy of KVIE and of mine, too. Tim, thank you.
Anytime. I'm honored, absolutely honored at just what KVIE has done, and it's just such an amazing thing.
It's not what KVIE has done, it's what you've done.
I appreciate
You are the artist. This is your creation. And if you could just look right into that camera, you know, this man right here, I'm telling you something, this is a world-renowned artist, trust me, and his works are going to go all across this world. What is it about, Tim, your art, that you want to say for your art to people who are watching at home?
You know, for me, it's just a great release to paint and be able to share with others. And honestly, it's one of those things where I can bring up childhood memory and do whatever I can. And it's a lot of fun, more than anything.
Mm-hmm. I've watched you paint, and it is so peaceful. So say that again, Craig. Okay, we got a bid off going. There's several people on the phone. Is that going to be on Tim's piece? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have to do a bid off. We're at $3,000. Tim, say $3,100.
$3,100 would be great. It
Okay.
goes 100% of the proceeds are going to KVIE and PBS, which is an amazing, just a phenomenal thing to go to.
And
Yeah.
let me tell you something. This is the best of show winner. Tim took it home for all of the competition, all 600 Northern California and national artists that submitted. Tim took home the best in show. So we're going to have more from Tim in a minute. Dee, real quick, let's go back to you.
Okay, we've talked about the custom portrait. We've explained how you're going to get the custom portrait, all of that sort of thing. What I wanted to do was talk about David Loewenberg. He is a major California artist. He's collected up and down the state. He's in many private collections. He also is an instructor at the local college. So it's not just that you're getting your portrait done by a California master. And right now I only have a $500 bid on that. It's a $1,700 value. That's what my husband paid to have this portrait of me done. So you can get it done. You can get it done also. It'll come already framed. You could have a portrait of your child done. You could have a portrait of your wife done. You can do a portrait of yourself for Valentine's Day. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift. And the only way you can bid on that right now is at 1-800-270-6601. We're going to sell out this portrait really quick. You'll never have another opportunity to own a personal David Loewenberg like that again. Okay, let's go back to Rob and Tim.
Okay, so we're at $3,000 for this piece. Tim, thank you so much.
Anytime. Thank you
know how
guys
much
so
we
much.
love you here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll let you head back over that way. You can wave by as you head out. Thank you. Here comes Best in Show right there.
Bye, Jim.
Martin Christian.
Thanks, Rob.
You know I love you. It's such a pleasure knowing you and working with you, Martin.
More adventure.
MartinChristianPhotography.com right here. And we'll see you, I guess, back at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll see you coming up in the next half hour. Stay with us on KVIE. Thanks, Martin.
Think freedom. Think no limits. Think first car. Think next car. Think wow factor. Think custom. Think unlimited possibilities. 11 brands, thousands of choices, one name, Nilo. The Nilo Company is a proud sponsor of KVIE.
Stay tuned for the California Masters category, coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. Selected by curator D. Oldham Neath, this category recognizes the works of this region's amazing artists. Don't miss your chance to secure a piece from a California master. View all of the categories featured in this year's auction at kvie.org/art auction. Bid high and bid on.
And welcome back. Let's keep the auction going. I'm looking at the last half hour that we had here. So much fun. And the auction is still going for custom portrait. Oh, good. Now there's an auction going even more up at $625. A day at the beach with column is $3,000. And then we move into the next half hour. Let's give you a quick review of all the art coming up in the next half hour live here from our KVIE studios in Northern California. And here we have the first piece, which is absolutely beautiful. We're going to zip through these beautiful 5 pieces so we can get to Kim Scott, who is our wonderful master artist expert this half hour. Dog's Heading East is by Robin. Tell me this wonderful artist here.
Letty Gustina.
Letty Gustina. Robin Letty Gustina. This is absolutely beautiful, a $700 value. And this is Reggae's Rabbit Tree by Maya Peoples Bright. And this woman is a very colorful lady. She does some of her clothes in art as well. I've seen her around town. And here we have Great Dane for all the dog lovers out there for $425. Great Dane is by Robert Pengelly. On to Lorraine's Bird by Robert Bowen. And this is a $650 value. And all of these paintings you're going to see up close and personal in just a moment. And here's Mr. Big. That was a character in Sex and the City, I remember. This is Maureen Hood, Mr. Big here in the story coming up behind Mr. Big. I'm looking at him sit over there on the floor of the studio, and it is hilarious when you see this thing in person. And then the last one you're looking at right now in this next half hour is the final William, Willying Away the Hours, and that's by Maureen Hood. And we will find out what that name means. Coming up in just a minute. All right, joining us now is art expert Kim Scott, who is a contributing artist this year and the figurative juror for KVIE's art auction this year. Kim, good to see you.
Hi.
Thanks for coming in. Yeah, you're such a doll, and you've been here so much, and you're so smart. And I love your purple hair. Okay. All right, so let's take it away with this beautiful first piece. Dog's Heading East. The auction's already going. I'm seeing $300 right now.
Great.
Yep, $300, and it's retail at $700. Kim, what would you say about this?
Well, Robin does series. This is the last painting in a big series she did of dogs, just analyzing what they do, how they live their lives, running at dog parks, going to the beach, and she really has captured something here. It looks to me like she painted this at the beach, probably.
It does look like that.
The plein air, as they call it.
Because you know how dogs are at the beach. They have such expression because they're so focused. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dogs there.
She likes to really watch them closely and how they pack together, how they're communicating. She really makes the dogs the stars of the piece. She's also used a really interesting color palette. It's beautiful and serene looking. But the closer you look, the more it tells a story.
Isn't that absolutely exquisite? A $300 value for Dogs Heading East. They're literally heading east out to the water, it looks like here. As we said, there's 8 beautiful dogs by Robin. This is the beautiful dog painting that she did here, and I see that it's gallery wrapped, so it doesn't need framing. And you being an art expert, what strikes you the most about this beautiful painting?
Well, I can really tell it's been done by a master. You can tell this person has really spent a lot of time with the very minimum of brush strokes. She's expressed so much in this work, and the way she uses the colors. That's not one thing, that's 2 things, but
Still,
just overall. And you were mentioning the gallery wrap on this. What's interesting about gallery wrap pieces is as you walk up to them from the side, you get a little bit different angle than just straight on like a regular
I never knew that.
piece, regularly framed piece.
That's
It's a little bonus
beautiful.
there.
And I see a little note written on the back from the artist, and if you buy it, you'll get to see what that note says. Okay, so this is the beautiful piece, which is Dogs Heading East, and we still see there's a $300 bid on this. We're looking for a $400 bid to get it up to the retail of $700. I'm a dog lover. I have 2 at home, and you know what I love about dog painting is that even though it's not of your animal, you can see your animal in it.
Yeah, I have a dog too.
I know you do.
This artist is shown at the Crocker Art Museum.
Really?
She has shown at Archival Framing. She's shown a lot of local work. You would be very lucky to have this piece in your collection. All of these pieces we're going to be seeing in this half hour are done by masters. Any of these pieces you could be proud of to have in your collection at home.
And a master's for KVIE, that is top shelf. I mean, that's a big deal to get one of, I think there's only 40 masters in the entire collection this year that Dee selected. So dogs heading east, the phones need to be ringing if you're interested at 1-800-270-6601 for this beautiful piece. I love that you keep bringing this up because it is such a valid point, is that each of these paintings in this half hour, this is collectible art. If you're a master, your price is going up, your stock is going up, your worth is going up.
You've made a serious commitment to your art and to your craft when you're called a master. You've been doing it for years and you've taken it seriously. Many masters have also gone to further education and studied from different people. This particular piece, I think, would go in any room of your house, and it would go in any style of furniture as well. It's really flexible that way. I think the colors, too, are really calm and
absolutely
relaxing.
Gorgeous colors. You can put that anywhere, as you were just mentioning. Hey, an update on the custom portrait that we had in the last half hour. That's up to $850, so there's multiple people on the phone for that. And now I see the phones lighting up for dogs heading east as well. Okay, this is Reggae's Rabbit Tree, and we already have someone who is bidding $125 on this. This is by Maya Peoples-Bright, and I love the way that she packs. Oh, there's dogs in here too. You know, I'm always a little late to the party, and I'm realizing that there's animals in all of this.
Here.
Yeah, there's a theme here going, and there's animals in all of the works this half hour. I love that from our masters connecting with the animals. So tell us about this beautiful piece.
Well, Maya Peoples-Bright has been painting in Sacramento for many years. She used to show at this candy store gallery up in Folsom. That's a famous, famous gallery space. She calls her animals and her dogs beasties. And so this one has a number of beasties in it. It's got a bunch of rabbits up here in the tree and this little dog with a darling face.
Isn't that cute?
Oh, I love the high def here too. It shows up so well. You can really see what you're getting
here
up
comes
close.
the dog you're talking about. Boom, right there.
There it is. Look at the color combination. She is a feel-good, oops, my big old hand there.
That's all right, I'm laughing at the dog.
It's like a really feel-good, look, there's little chickens up there too. Feel-good paintings, all of her paintings are that way. Usually her paintings are much bigger than this one. So we're lucky that she has this little painting that packs such a big punch here today. Will fit into your collection, even if you have just that one little wall space left that's free. It's waiting for you here. Fill it right up with this piece.
This piece really packs a punch. And so does our Heath Buckmaster, who is over there in the phone bank. Hey, Heath, take it away.
You pack a punch, and thanks for heading east over to me, Rob, because I'm here with the dogs that are heading east. 44A, folks, this is what happens. We're in the last portion of our 32-hour on-air auction, and we want you to help us finish strong so that KVIE is successful for the next year, and you get to celebrate and support the great arts, visual arts of Northern California. Dogs Heading East has a current bid of $300 on it, so now's the time for you to call in. Make these phones ring, get our volunteers working. They're here the rest of the night with us to make sure that you get to take home a beautiful piece of art. Also, 43B, the custom portrait with David Lobenberg, still open for bidding because we've got multiple people on that piece right now with a high bid of $850. So, if you want the custom portrait, you've got 1 minute to get on the phone with these volunteers, and then we're going to be bidding it out. If you want Dogs Heading East, pick up the phone and call now. Get on the phone with a volunteer. Make a stand for these beautiful pieces of art. And now, Rob, I think let's go back to you and Kim.
All right, thank you so much, Heath. 1-800-270-6601 is the number, and KVIE is the place for art. Kim was telling us how this beautiful, small, intimate picture by Maya Peoples is really just packing a huge punch because it's got so much color and it's loaded, just like Maya, with personality.
She says art like music should touch your soul, and that's what she goes after in every single piece that she paints.
Well, this
she's
one
trying
does.
to grab you.
Yeah, this one definitely
They're
does.
charming and they're energetic. They're lively, and they have some kind of spirit to them too. In fact, she uses a lot of glitter, and she uses the paint in such a way that it really comes away from the surface. It has a lot of texture to it as well. it's got a lot going on.
Well, let me show you some of these things in here. Okay, so there you are on the beautiful little dog. How adorable is that? And if the camera just goes straight up, there you go. There's another little dog and another little dog right there. And they're just, the more you look at it, more things come to life.
I know, I love the little chickens in there.
Yeah, absolutely adorable. Okay, so, oh good, that's a bell ringer, is that right? Are we at $3.50 for Maya's piece? Yes, we are. Okay, so that's fantastic.
All right.
Good job, that's awesome. Let's come on over, Kim. Let's just move while we're live here.
Oh, I love this piece.
We're live, folks, and so we're just rolling with it. All right, this piece, oh my gosh. I can think of like 10 people who I know who would just kill for this.
This is such a gorgeous piece.
I mean, talk about a stately, intimate painting. Okay, this is Great Dane. I am just in love with this piece. And this is by Robert Pengelly. And it is a pencil, is that right?
It's graphite on paper. It's probably pencil, but it may be powder form and stuff too. I'm not sure.
Okay, so this is exquisite. And we have a starting bid at $175. This piece is retailed at a minimum of $425, and I have to tell you, standing here live in the KVIE studios, this is framed stunningly.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the piece of art.
This piece, the way that it's rendered, the way that it's drawn, really defines the word master.
Well put.
This man paints and draws a lot of times Victorian houses around Northern California.
Really?
And they're like portraits of these houses. They're fantastic looking. And what he said in his statement is that you can tell by this how he's so meticulous about what he's doing.
Look how nicely that shows up on television.
You can really see, I mean, this is a fairly small piece. You can really see so much detail in it, even though it's small. He does these Victorian houses, and they have sort of a stoic look to them, but there's something brewing underneath, and I think that's what he's doing here too. It's a beautiful, stately dog. But dogs don't stand still, right?
They don't, but Great Danes, I mean, you know how great a Great Dane is. And I love seeing that people think this is a great work as well, because there are multiple people on the phone. We're at $200 right now for this piece, and we're looking to get up in increments now of $25. So we're looking for $225 on this at 1-800-270-6601. And you, being a master yourself, you are able to look at artwork and say, this piece is special. This piece is a collector. Is this one?
Oh, I wish it was mine,
I do
really.
Too.
What can I say?
We're not supposed to say that, but I want it.
You know, I'm not going to do it. You please buy it for yourself. This is a study for a larger piece. And so a lot of times artists do smaller pieces as studies for some. This is probably incorporated into a larger piece, maybe even one of his houses, Victorian houses. So I think that maybe like this dog is floating on that background. There's really no horizon line, nothing like that. It stands on its own. It's so beautiful.
Exquisite. Okay, so we're at $200. I see multiple people on the phone right now for Great Dane. So we're gonna, that's how this whole thing rolls really. We get the auction going on one of the pieces, and then we pull away from it live on television, and we let you duke it out over in the phone bank. All right, our next piece that we're going to show you right now is Laureen's Bird. This is a phenomenal piece with a surprise inside. This piece is, we're looking for $195 to start the auction on this piece. It has a retail value of $650, and if you're following along in your program, if you're art collectors, it's 44D. Okay, so look at this. I said there's a surprise, but there's several now looking at it. Take it away.
Okay, so this is by artist Robert Bowen. He lived in Sacramento for quite a while, and he's living in the Bay Area now. He started out as a street artist, and through his own perseverance has developed his skills until he can just paint anything he wants. He's so good. This particular piece, though, is interesting because his background is a Laureen Landau landscape on paper.
Really? Uh-huh. So this is part of the collection that other artists stepped in and finished after she passed away.
Exactly. And Robert, the way that it's mounted really shows that off. This is called a float. And so you can see the edge of the paper, which is an interesting, it's called a deckled edge on this paper. It's like the torn edge. Robert has been featured in Juxtapose magazine, which is the most popular art magazine in the United States right now.
Really?
He is a man to watch, for sure.
And so was Lorene.
And
now
Lorene.
her work carries on even after her death. This is Lorene's bird. We need a starting bid on this, folks, at $195. You get 2 artists, 2 masters, for 1 piece and 1 price here. You get Lorene Landau, as well as you get the amazing Robert Bowen, a Bay Area artist who you said is internationally known.
Yeah, definitely. He's hanging out with the big boys now. Just a little backstory here. He used to work in archival framing,
Really?
framing other people's art, and then slowly
He said,
worked
"Hey,
up
I can do
to
that."
where he is now.
That's awesome. Okay, well, speaking of archival framing, the owner of that gallery is right over there. Dee?
Oh, thanks, Rob. I'm here with our stylist, Kimberly. She has been making us look good all day since 11 o'clock this morning. Thank you very much, Kimberly. Did you have fun?
Yes, I had a great time.
Okay, and she is holding Great Dane item number 44C by Robert Pengelly. We have a bid of $350. It's got a retail of $425. So we just need to get that up a little higher. I'm going to have Kimberly step over here. This piece right here is by Robin Letty Justina. It's called Dogs Heading East. We've got a bid of $500. It's got a $700 retail. This is a great piece. Robin's really well known in town. She's shown with me. She's shown all over the place. Great little size for a piece. Good gift for a dog lover. Let's get that up from $500 to $700. Okay, I'm going to go back to Rob and Kim.
Okay, so our job is to make sure that you realize these are once-in-a-lifetime paintings and collections. These artists give their works to KVIE, and we are passing that along to you at 1-800-270-6601. Pick up the phone if you're considering any of the works that Dee just showed you from the phone bank, or this beautiful piece that we're seeing right now, Lorene's bird, and good. Our first bidder just came online at $195. We're looking for $225 on Lorene's bird. Kim, tell us more about this spectacular piece of art as people try to decide to get involved in this live auction.
This person does a lot of surrealist stuff. He juxtaposes maybe some nature. He uses a lot of bees and birds and animals with mechanical parts. This has a part of a plane
Airplane, yeah.
attached to a bird. It'll make you think.
Well, that is a wonderful piece, and I see that we have a couple of people on the phone for that, so we're going to take that one off the air because we have our friend here. This thing is hysterical. You got to see this one in person, but this is Mr. Big, and this retails at $2,800, and you can see why right now on your television. This is by Eric Dolan. Wow. Okay, talk about a collector. Eric's pieces are going all across the country. Eric is phenomenal. His works are greatly sought after, and Kim's going to tell us what it is about Eric that he's connecting with so much as we look at Mr. Big. I feel like we should come on down here.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Get on down there with Mr. Big. Yeah, his work is really whimsical. It's fun. His surface is really glossy and attractive.
So cute.
And I think, too, people use his work outside, which is really nice to be able to bring your art collection outside. And this guy, you just want to wonder, what is his story, huh?
And so I love that you mentioned that this can go anywhere, and it is very, very heavy, so it will be safe outside as well. Mr. Big, right now we're calling for a starting bid of $700, and Dee Oldham Neath, who is our curator, I know that she talks about Eric Dolan's work a lot. She just says this guy is a master, and he is.
Mm-hmm. And he just got a new kiln. Before, you would see a lot of his work, mostly birds and things that were smaller in scale. Now he's getting out the big work because he has a bigger kiln. He can fire things bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here it is, right here.
And he's so much fun. It's 1-800-270-6601. And again, this is Eric Dolan, Mr. Big here. And as you're soaking this in at home and trying to decide whether you want this in your collection, all of the people in this hour are masters. These are investment pieces that will continue to grow, and these pieces will continue to grow in their worth and in their value and in your hearts while they're in your homes. 1-800-270-6601 is the call to action for you to get this beautiful piece of art in your home. Tell us more that you know about Eric. Have you ever met Eric?
I've met Eric, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been in different group shows together through the years, definitely.
And
he's
so-
a super nice, low-key guy. He was an educator for many years. Maybe your kids were educated by him.
That would be great. And you can have a piece in your home by him right now, because this is for sale here live at the KVIE studios. So you say Eric is a super nice guy, and I can just tell by the way you're talking, he might be a little understated about his talent.
He is. He's very understated. But look, he really comes across as something super nice, super pleasant. If you had this in your home, it would just add a great, it's like Alice in Wonderland. Can't you see this in a garden or something?
What's so funny is when we walked in for this half hour, and we were live for the one before, and people are setting up for this one, and the studio is just running around filled with people, and everyone's looking at this thing going, oh my gosh, look at that thing, because it's just so much fun. It is a conversation piece. And I'm stunned, to be honest with you, that no one is on the phone right now for it. And that's because I know these are investments. I know some of these are expensive, but they're worth every penny of it. This is
So much
Mr. Big.
work went into this.
Oh, I can't imagine how much work. And this is one piece. Okay, so let's let that one keep going, because we've got a massive piece over here. And Craig is our producer, and so we're talking to him as we're live here on KVIE. Craig, you want us to go to Heath? All right, let's do it. Let's go check in with Heath, because he has a double whammy in front of him.
I do, and thanks. How y'all doing over there?
We're doing great, Heath. How are
We're
you?
doing good over here in the phone bank, right? Yeah? We got some energy in the phone. We still have energy in the phone bank. I am next to 44D. This is Laureen's bird. This item has a high bid of 100. Things change so fast. It's now got a high bid of $225 on it. Congratulations. Let's get this bidding going, folks. That means there's more than one person on it. It happens that fast, which means that if you wait and you call in and say, gosh, I really would like 44D, what we're going to tell you at that point is it's closed. But right now is your opportunity, because 44D is open for bidding. Do not delay. Call the number on your screen, 1-800-270-6601. Tell the volunteer you want to bid on 44D, Laureen's bird. This beautiful piece right next to me. I think, Rob, it's time to go back to you and Kim for that amazingly large, beautiful piece.
This is an amazingly large piece, and it is absolutely beautiful. You can see the size of this beautiful piece with Kim and I standing next to it, and this would be a showstopper in any home or in any office across Northern California. It has a very funny name. It's The Final William, Willieing Away the Hours by Maureen Hood, and this is a mixed media piece. This won a Curator's Award, which means that of all of these masters that we're showcasing during this hour, this is one of the best. Tell us about this piece.
Well, Maureen Hood, let me cue you in on the title. Maureen Hood went to school at UC Davis in the art department there, and two of her advisors were William Wiley,
Okay.
The Final William, whiling away the hours.
Okay, I pronounced it wrong. My apologies to the artist. So it's whiling away the hours.
William Wiley was an artist in Davis.
Got it.
I'm thinking this is probably him right here. He looked something like this when he was younger.
Okay.
Wearing the crazy psychedelic shirt and stuff.
And look at all of the characters that are in this piece. This is layer after layer if you look closely. What is it that strikes you the most about this clearly collectible artist?
The more you look at it, the more you see. For me, I like work that really engages me.
Okay.
I don't really want something for myself where it's just like you see it once and you know everything about it. I like something where you go back to it, and depending on how your day is, you see more and more in the work, and this really does that. What she does is this maybe, if this was a photograph or something, would be a bunch of people standing by a fence with a tree in the sky, but she deconstructs every one of those figures, makes collages, and puts them back together again so that there's a lot more variety to it than if it was just a plain old photograph.
Well, look, some action is starting to take place on Mr. Big, which was the piece we saw right before this beautiful piece. So now we're at 700 on Mr. Big as Mr. Big has moved over to the phone bank. But this is the piece we're talking about right now. We're looking for a starting bid of $900 for the Final William by the master and KVIE Curator Award winner, Maureen Hood. This piece is multi-layered, and as Kim said perfectly, every time you look at it, you see something different. That's one of the beautiful things about the art that you get through KVIE is that the experience continues.
Now, I don't know if she used acrylics or watercolor on the sky, but I swear it's so simple, but when you look at it, it really looks like clouds. She did a great job. Clouds are really hard to paint,
And so is blue.
Yeah.
Gregory
Yeah.
Condos, we interviewed him and he said the blues are very tough. Stand by. Let's go to D in the phone bank with Mr. Big, and then we have a special guest coming up in just a second.
Okay, I'm here with one of my favorite guys, Mr. Big. I want to tell a personal story. I have a bunny rabbit this size in my front yard. I live over in Lamb Park. Nobody's ever tried to steal him because he weighs a ton. I get so many compliments on him from people. People stop and take pictures of him. I put a little hat on him at the holidays. He's kind of my little talisman for my house, and he could be the little talisman for your house. You could be that house on the street that has the bunny near the front door. So we need a better bid on Mr. Big. So late to say that. I've got a $700 bid. He's a $2,800 piece. He's high fire. He's beautiful. He's one of those things that your children are going to fight over years from now. Again, Sacramento legend, Eric Dolan. His work is available through the Crocker gift store. It's available at the Colleen Anderson Gallery. He is in so many galleries here in Sacramento. He is the bunny man, and this is one of the biggest bunnies he's ever done, and this needs to be your bunny. So please, he's got a $700 bid. Let's go up to $2,800. Okay, we're going to go back to Rob. We're just going to keep him open for a few more minutes.
Okay, that sounds great. And Craig in the control room, if you could just let me know when we have about a minute left in this segment, because we're going to talk more about this beautiful piece, and then we'll introduce our next hour's auctioneer. We're at $1,000 right now, and we're looking for a retail of $5,200 on this. This piece is humongous. In fact, the sizes are 60 by 48. This is one of the largest pieces, I think, in the auction this year.
This could make a room in your house for sure. It's so substantial. It's such a beautiful color palette too. It's very springy. It's not dark. It's very light and lively. It's sort of the pastoral thing going on here. It's like watercolors and the trees in the background and stuff. And when you look closer, these are all collaged in pieces on here. And there's who's that?
Kim, really quickly, I'm told we need a programming update for some viewers at home with Heath in the phone bank.
So just a quick programming note, if you're tuning in for Masterpiece Mystery Foils War, you have not missed that show. It will air tonight at 10 o'clock after our final hour of the art auction. So stay with us for the last hour of the art auction, and then you can enjoy Masterpiece Mystery Foils War, the very next episode. And now let's send it back over to Rob and Kim.
I love it when we see the auction starting to take place here live at KVIE, because we just jumped from $1,000 to $1,500, and we have multiple people on the phone at 1-800-270-6601 to take this piece home. As we were chatting just now, Dee gave an update to Kim. What was that?
Yeah, this piece was the curator of the entire show went to Maureen's studio and chose this piece for the auction. She let us choose a piece for this auction.
She let Dee go pick it out herself.
Yeah.
And you said this was what last year?
And this was like one of her favorite pieces. This particular piece is about an era in Sacramento Davis history with all the different artists that taught out at UCD during that time, about William Wiley and about her feelings about him and how important he was to her. This is capturing a time in history locally as well, so it means something regionally as well as artistically.
And I also want to point out that this artist, hey Dee, this artist won Best in Show last year, and you saw that Tim Collins' piece is Best in Show this year. So you see the caliber of artists that we feature on KVIE.
And what I love about this piece is the hours of the day. Did we talk about that?
Oh, we
so
didn't.
It progresses through the hours of the day. We start at dusk right here. We work our way through the middle of the day. It's also an analogy on life, and then we work back here again towards dusk.
Okay.
So it's a really spiritual piece. It was a focal point in the artist's home, and she let me steal it off her wall.
I bet she was mad at you. All right. Well,
she loves KVIE.
Well, and so does this next man. David, come on in. This is David Lowe, our president and general manager. When you see the big boss come in the house, you definitely bring him on over onto television. David, tell us.
Everyone's a producer, huh?
Exactly. Tell us, David, this collection, you've been here for 10 years now.
Right.
What do you think about this year's collection?
I think it keeps getting better and better. Every year, I always say this is the best collection yet, but then I end up saying that the next year, and the next year. But everyone who sees it as well thinks the same.
Okay, well, Kim, come on over. Let's tell David to have a great next hour. And we hope you have a great evening as the art auction continues. Stay with us because we have a final hour. David will be hosting that here at the KVIE Art Auction. You can come pick up this art as early as tomorrow. Take care. Kim, thank you. You were great. Bye-bye.